Hi, I'm Weiser Cornell, and this is Support for Stressful Times. And it's so nice to be with you today with this community of people who comes live to the Support to Stressful Times, and also to those of you who like to watch it later on YouTube. You're all welcome, and you all make me very happy that you're interested in a way of being with yourself and with others that's less stressful, that's calmer, more curious, more spacious. And that's what we get. That's what we get when we pause and sense. Take time to pause and sense. That's the fundamental message that I like to give in these webinars. I have a theme for the day, and the theme is when too much comes at you at the same time. And that's something that I've heard from a number of people lately. You've got one thing that's stressful, and then suddenly or maybe slowly, I don't know, something else comes at you, and something else comes at you. Something's hard in your work life, and then someone in your family gets sick. Just yesterday, I heard from a very good friend of mine. He's suddenly dealing with a really serious cancer. And that's a little bit stressful for me because I'm his friend, but it's a lot stressful for him. So things happen, stuff happens, and sometimes stuff happens kind of all at the same time, or it's big. It's not just a lot of things, but also what's coming at you, what's happening around you. Feels like a lot, feels like it kind of throws you off balance, puts you under stress, gives you a feeling of, I'm getting close to the edge of my resources here. So let's take that seriously. Let's acknowledge that sometimes that happens. And maybe some of you are going through that. Maybe some of you have been going through that for quite some time. Let's take that seriously. And by that, I mean acknowledging. And acknowledging is one of our most helpful friends in times of stress. Acknowledging. Nice long word, acknowledging. But it's like, hello, I know you're there. So why don't you practice that with me right now? Because we like to start these webinars with a little bit of actually doing it together. So being aware of pausing. I'm pausing right now. We are pausing. And pausing is as simple as whatever we're doing, we just stop it for a moment. And in that pause, maybe we can be aware of our bodies. So I'm being aware of my body. I can feel my feet. I don't have shoes on, so my toes are feeling the rug, and they're kind of liking that. But, as we pause and as we feel the body, it's nice to notice what feels kind of good right now. My toes are enjoying the rug, and the rest of me is enjoying being supported by this chair. And that gives me a breath. Do you notice a breath coming for you when you pause and just start noticing how your body is supported, what you're touching? Some people have a little trouble right there, like they're so, I don't know, caught up or emotional or stressed or worried that it's even hard to pause and feel your body. Okay, so if that is true, then acknowledge that. I am noticing. I'm too whatever to even feel my body very well right now. And I say hello to that. So that's acknowledging. So we're acknowledging whatever we notice, whatever is true. This process I'm showing you, focusing, is really the ultimate in contact with reality, contact with what truly is so. Because right now my toes really are enjoying the rug, and the rest of my body really is feeling supported by what I'm sitting on. I can also feel how I am in my throat, chest, stomach. I can feel the place in me that's sad about my friend's serious news that I got yesterday. And I can check that word. Is it sad? Yep, sad and concerned. Like, how is he? How's he doing? Shall I offer help? How shall I offer help? So you can be noticing things like that as well as you pause and you sense, and you maybe sense in this inner area of your body, throat and chest and stomach. How am I right now? What's going on? This got my attention. What's going on that's got your attention? Is it something that makes it hard to pause? Is it something that makes it hard to slow down and feel your body? Are you sort of up here buzzing? Or are you sort of aware of something really painful or heavy as you feel your body? That might be, and let's acknowledge it. We're practicing acknowledging. We're practicing how useful, how supportive it is to simply pause and acknowledge what is so right now, how it is, what is so right now. And if you find your body taking a deeper breath, that gives you a, a sign, a signal from inside, something's happening. I can breathe a little more deeply, and often it's because I've been able to acknowledge what's going on for me right now. Now, if you are aware of something like that and you've acknowledged it, there may be more things going on to acknowledge. And our theme for the day is, what if you have more than one thing? What if a number of things are stressing you at the same time? Well, we can acknowledge more than one thing going on. So there's this, and there's this. And maybe it's all contributing to a heaviness in my chest, or maybe some of it has a tightness in my throat and some of it has a clenching in my stomach. And pausing to notice. And once you've acknowledged something, then acknowledging, looking around, is there something else that also is calling out from inside to be acknowledged? Yeah, trying that. That's great. Trying that. Slowing down, pausing and acknowledging. And then what often happens is that some part of us is reactive to what we're finding. Like, it's there's a feeling of overwhelm, or there's a feeling of I don't like it, or there's a feeling of I have to solve it, I have to hurry up and fix it. So those are called the feelings about the feelings. And so notice if there's something like that going on. As you feel what you're feeling, as you acknowledge it, there may be something else you become aware of. That's the urge to get away from it, or the urge to fix it. And hello to that, acknowledging that. And I have this language that I've talked to you all about before. It's called presence language, and it does help. I am sensing something in me is feeling a bit worried and sad about my friend, and I'm sensing something in me wondering when I can do anything for my friend because so much else is going on. So I acknowledge that both of those are there. So there's a I am sensing something in me, and I am sensing something in me, and both are there. And I am here aware of both. I'm here acknowledging both. And maybe that brings a deeper breath when you become the one who can acknowledge what's here. See, what's happening is when we're overwhelmed by what we feel, we're getting merged with that feeling, getting identified with it. And that can be so overwhelming. But when we use this language of I am sensing, something in me feels, then we're cultivating our ability to be what I call self in presence. My colleague Barbara McGavin and I named this state of awareness which can be present to anything inside. And self in presence is that ability to turn toward anything inside you and acknowledge it. And we can cultivate our self in presence by acknowledging. So each time you say to something in you, hello, I know you're there, you are getting bigger. Your ability to be present is getting bigger. I wonder if you're noticing that. I'm going to pause and see what's going on in the chat. I hope some people are sharing. David says, I'm feeling threatened, which is producing fear. So, David, you're probably saying, something in me is afraid, and I'm saying hello to that. Catherine says, when I pause and tune in, more overwhelm comes with the enormity of my grief and fear. Yeah. How does acknowledgement help? It all feels too much, and I want to run away and hide and not sense more. Well, I take very seriously what you're saying, Catherine. Right now, it isn't feeling to you like acknowledgement is helping. And I appreciate that. But I notice that you are noticing the wanting to run away. You are noticing how big the grief and fear are. So does it help? Sounds like it doesn't feel like it helps very much. Yeah, that's hard. I know. This stuff isn't magic. It's not a magic answer. Sometimes things are just really hard. My heart is with you. Haja writes, I acknowledged a feeling in my tummy and didn't have a word. So I asked it. And the word came back wasted. And that was absolutely right on. Oh, nice. And it sounds like that helped. And then she goes on to say, I went deeper and came to this panic about my exhibition in 3 weeks. Something was trying to solve it. But then I just said hello to the panic and felt the breath of relaxing. So something is panicked and something's trying to solve it. And I am acknowledging both. You know, understanding that acknowledging isn't the end of the process, it's really the beginning. That there's a further process of being with, of listening, of taking seriously and taking care of what's here. Catherine writes, I was so scared, my body was full of adrenaline. And I hope you were acknowledging that. Alexa writes, self in presence is such a beautiful place. It's a peaceful state. Not always easy to find it, but blissful when I do. It is not always easy to find it. What helps me find self in presence is acknowledging. That's why I'm a big fan of acknowledging. And sometimes it's hard for me too, to move to self in presence just by acknowledging. There's times I get so anxious that even the anxious scares me. And I feel like if I'm that anxious, it must mean that there's actually a threat. And that is a hard place to be for me. I'm talking especially about certain times when I'm facing an airplane flight and something in me gets very anxious, can get very anxious then. And what has worked for me, though, is to acknowledge over and over again. And each time check if what I'm feeling is hearing me. So acknowledging isn't just me up here acknowledging, it's me talking to what I'm feeling and saying, I sense you there. I sense how upset you are, how anxious you are. The places inside me need me to say, I'm here with you. I'm here with you. David's one who's feeling scared because of being under threat. And he writes now, things may be hard, but if you stay with the things inside you that you're sensing, they transform. Wow. Okay, a question from LB. Can one be self in presence and think and plan about future concerns? Absolutely. So, the interesting thing about the self in presence that we're talking about is that it's an ability or an inner state of being able to be with what you feel. And it's also a place from which you could live your life. And when I'm self in presence, I'm calmer and I can face the things that stress me with more of an array of my own resources. And of course, that includes making future plans. I can plan as well as respond to what's in front of me right now. I can make decisions and take actions that take care of the people I love and the values that I care about. All of those things can happen as yourself in presence. Lily, as I continue to practice, my capacity to be self in presence expands, and this brings such calm and a feeling of safety and presence. So grateful for this practice. So it's a practice. And practice means that we're not perfect. It means try it and see what happens. So we're talking about what to do when so many things come at you at the same time. Oh, that reminds me, someone in the chat asked, would I say overwhelm is a part? Well, that's a great question because it enables me to do a little linguistics here. Now, maybe some of you know that I have a background in linguistics. Do you know the difference between nouns and adjectives? Overwhelm is a noun. Anxiety is a noun. Anger is a noun. Fear is a noun. And overwhelmed, anxious, angry, afraid, those are all adjectives. Is overwhelm a part? I have overwhelm. My overwhelm is really difficult. That uses overwhelm as a noun. What if we switch to an adjective? We'd start with the word something in me is feeling overwhelmed right now. And it becomes really easy to add the words right now. Something in me is feeling anxious right now. Something in me is feeling upset right now. Something in me is feeling afraid right now. The words right now come very easily, and notice what kind of difference that makes. Something in me is feeling overwhelmed right now, and I'm saying hello to that, which also implies that there's an I that's bigger. Because if I can say hello to that, that means I'm bigger. Now, I know it doesn't always feel that way, especially when a lot of things are coming at you at once and you're feeling overwhelmed, adjective. It doesn't always feel that you are bigger than that. Sometimes it feels that you are kind of small and at the mercy of all of that. I know, I can understand that. I felt that way too. But at least we can notice that. I'm noticing that I feel small in relationship to all that's going on. I'm just noticing. And then this language that I'm showing you, if you practice it and repeat it, can build up, cultivate your ability to be the one who's bigger. I'm sensing something in me that feels small. I'm aware, I'm noticing something in me feels small, and I am here with that. So the language itself, spoken awarely, has a kind of transportational You can say transformational, but I also say transportational. It takes you somewhere. It takes you. It enables you to feel that bigger place. And I hope we're trying that ourselves right now. So we're talking today about what we can do when so many things are happening at the same time. And first of all, really acknowledging, I want to acknowledge, let's all acknowledge, that is not easy. And what can you do when something's not easy? Maybe you need to give yourself a break if possible. Take a half-hour nap. Take a holiday. Take a walk. And on your walk, get some oxygen and sunlight and take some time to look around at the green trees and the flowers. Be safe. Some places are too hot for that, but if you're inside, you can look out the window. It's self-care to give yourself a bit of space, a bit of time. Let's take self-care seriously, especially if you've got so much going on. What can you do to give yourself a little break? Sometimes it almost feels like I can't take a moment because there's too much to take care of. Well, let's acknowledge that something in you is feeling like you can't take a moment, but there's always a moment. There's always 5 minutes. There's always that much. Catherine's writing, now I'm sensing how hard this time is for me, and tears come. And I sense that I can witness what I am feeling. Oh, sweetheart, that is great. So glad to hear that. And she says, I feel relieved. We're being a witness. And our feelings, no matter how tough they are, love to be witnessed. They really like it. Have you noticed that? It's like everybody wants a kind, compassionate witness. And we can be that to ourselves. And actually, the more we can be that for ourselves, the more we can be that for other people too. And we can be listeners. We can go out in the world and turn toward people, and even the people who we might not ordinarily have good conversations with, and be curious and listen. There's something going on for them. And I know what it's like to have things going on. I don't know, but I can be curious and listen. So maybe treating ourselves this way will translate into treating others this way. That would be great. But most important of all, right now, what I want to tell you is be gentle with yourself. Be kind and loving to yourself. You deserve it. And this is one of the ways you can do that, by noticing how you feel and acknowledging and sensing. Here's a question. I find it hard to do focusing on my own. Should I try speaking the words out loud? Yeah, that's a great idea. Speaking the words out loud means more parts of your brain are involved. You have the speaking, you have the hearing, it's all more involved. The other reason I speak out loud when I'm focusing alone is that I can actually have 6 sort of trains of thought going on at the same time. There's what I'm trying to do, acknowledging, sensing, saying hello, describing, and then there's what's for lunch, and do I have to buy something before then? And then there's what about this thing I have to do later? And they're all sort of going on at the same time. If I say one of those out loud, I'm selecting that one. That one comes to the forefront. Just say, I'm sensing something in me, and then describe what you're feeling. I'm sensing something in me is a little bit nervous, and I'm saying hello to that. Notice the difference between saying it out loud and saying it silently. One might work better than the other. Oh, Catherine Dever in the chat says drawing the felt sense can be helpful. So in addition to speaking out loud, have some art colors, colored pencils, something to draw with, and draw it. Draw what you're sensing. Nice. Or sculpture. Yeah. Catherine's the person who taught me that You can even make a sculpture out of a wet paper towel and mold it in the shape of something that you're feeling. Big shout out to Catherine Dever. Here we are. Understanding that if you're going through a stressful time, you're not alone. You have a community. You don't have to feel like you're all alone with that. And you can pause and notice how you feel. Say hello and say, I am sensing. And when you say, I am sensing, it cultivates your ability to be that I, which is not reactive. I feel heavy in my chest and I don't like it. I'm sensing something in me. Something in my chest is heavy. And I'm sensing something in me doesn't like it. And I'm here with both. So that's what I'd like to leave you with today, is that this is the ultimate in being kind and gentle to yourself, even when there's a lot going on. And when there's a lot going on, maybe you need this more than ever. This pause to sense and be aware. Thanks so much for being here today. It's been lovely to be with you.